Today, we are going to take you into a story where a minting error turned 3 ordinary pennies, visible to the naked eye, into coins worth more than $130,000. Now, you might be wondering how this is possible. Yes, it is absolutely possible. Minting errors, which occur accidentally, can turn any normal coin into something rare and special. Let's not waste any more time and start the video and find out which minting error can transform an ordinary coin into a highly valuable one. What if I told you a humble 1943 steel penny, something many people overlook, has sold for as much as $49,000 because of a tiny mistake most collectors never notice? And no, we're not talking about a rare gold coin or a century-old treasure. We're talking about a 1-cent coin made during one of the most dramatic periods in American history. Stay with me, because the story behind the 1943 steel penny gets more surprising with every minute. The year was 1943. World War II was consuming enormous amounts of raw materials. Copper was desperately needed for military equipment, communication systems, and ammunition. The U.S. Mint faced a challenge: continue making pennies without using valuable copper. Their solution was extraordinary. Instead of the traditional bronze composition, the Mint began producing cents from steel coated with zinc. Overnight, the familiar reddish-brown penny disappeared and was replaced by a shiny silver-colored coin that looked more like a dime than a cent. Millions of Americans were confused. People mistook them for dimes. Vending machines rejected them. Some even believed they were counterfeit, yet what seemed like an emergency wartime substitute would later become one of the most collected coins in American numismatic history. More than 1 billion steel pennies were produced in 1943, but that doesn't mean every example is common. The real money lies in condition, rarity, and errors, and that's where things become interesting. Before we explore the valuable errors, it's important to understand how these coins were created. Steel sheets were cut into blank discs called planchets. Those blanks were coated with zinc to protect the steel from rust. The planchets were then fed into high-speed presses, where dies struck Abraham Lincoln's portrait on one side and the wheat ears design on the other. The process sounds simple, but when billions of coins are being struck under wartime pressure, mistakes happen. Tiny imperfections in dies, planchets, and machinery can create unusual varieties that collectors chase decades later. Some of those mistakes transformed ordinary 1-cent coins into 4-figure and even 5-figure collectibles. Let's examine them one by one. A die crack forms when the hardened steel die begins to fracture after extensive use. Instead of replacing the die immediately, the Mint sometimes continued production. As a result, raised lines appeared on the finished coins. Most die crack. Steel cents sell for approximately $25 to $150 depending on visibility and condition, but dramatic examples with large cracks running across Lincoln's portrait or through the reverse design can command $300 to $1,000 or more. Collectors love these because they provide visible evidence of a die literally breaking apart during production, and larger cracks generally mean larger premiums. Now things get more exciting. An off-center strike occurs when a planchet is not properly aligned before being struck. Part of the design is missing while the remaining design appears shifted. A minor off-center example might sell for $50 to $200. A 10% to 20% off-center strike can reach $300 to $800 if the date remains visible and the strike is dramatically off-center. Values often climb into the $1,000 to $3,000 range. The combination of a visible date and strong misalignment is what collectors seek. Too little offset isn't dramatic enough. Too much offset may remove the date entirely. The sweet spot creates serious demand. Among all Lincoln cent errors, doubled dies are some of the most famous. These occur during die creation when design elements become duplicated. Letters, numbers, and portions of the design may appear doubled under magnification. Many minor doubled dies sell between $75 and $300 stronger. Examples can bring $500 to $2,000. Exceptional specimens certified by major grading companies sometimes exceed those estimates when collector demand is intense. The challenge is identification. Many People mistake machine doubling for true doubled dies. That distinction can mean the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and imagine, a small piece of cloth, grease, metal shaving, or debris becoming trapped between the die and the coin. When the strike occurs, part of the design fails to form correctly. That's called a struck-through error. Minor struck-through grease examples often sell for $20 to 100 more dramatic struck-through. Objects can reach $250 to $1,000 when the obstruction leaves a highly visible and unusual impression. Values can climb even higher. Collectors enjoy these because each one tells a unique story from the production floor. No two are exactly alike. Some 1943 steel cents display repunched mint marks. Where the mint mark was punched more than once into the die, these varieties show overlapping impressions. Modest examples typically sell between $50 and $250. Well-defined specimens can achieve $400 to $1,500, depending on rarity and condition. Specialists in Lincoln Cents actively search for these varieties because they reveal fascinating details about the manual die preparation process used at the time. Occasionally, a blank was cut improperly from the metal strip. The result was a coin, missing a curved section of metal. These are known as clipped planche errors. Smaller clips may bring $40 to $150 larger. And more dramatic clips often sell for $200 to $800 premium. Examples with strong eye appeal can exceed $1,000. The unusual shape immediately catches attention, making them popular among error collectors. Now, let's talk about the factor that separates a $20 steel penny from a four-figure. Prize-conditioned steel cents present a unique challenge because they rust easily. The zinc coating can wear away. Moisture can cause corrosion. Fingerprints can leave permanent damage. A heavily circulated 1943 steel cent may be worth only a few cents to a few dollars. A brilliant uncirculated example can be worth $20 to $100 gem quality pieces graded MS66, MS67, or higher may sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Depending on rarity and eye appeal, this is where professional grading becomes critical. Services such as major third-party grading companies evaluate authenticity, preservation, strike quality, and surface condition. 1. Single grade point can dramatically affect market value. A coin graded MS65 might sell for a fraction of what an MS67 example commands. That's how powerful condition can be. Remember the $49,000 figure from the beginning? Those extraordinary results generally involve exceptional condition, rare varieties, important errors, or unique combinations that attract aggressive bidding. Most steel pennies will never reach those heights. But that's exactly what keeps collectors searching. Every roll, jar, estate collection, and inherited coin box carries the possibility of hiding something remarkable. And because the 1943 steel cent already stands apart visually from other pennies, it remains one of the easiest historic coins for beginners to recognize. The 1943 steel penny wasn't created to become a collectible legend. It was born from wartime necessity, produced under immense pressure, and intended to solve a temporary problem. Yet decades later, collectors continue uncovering fascinating varieties, dramatic errors, and unexpectedly valuable examples. A die crack might be worth a few $100s. An off-center strike could reach thousands. A premium-grade rarity might shock even experienced collectors. And somewhere right now, sitting unnoticed in an old collection, there may be another remarkable 1943 steel penny waiting to reveal its true value. So before you dismiss that silver-colored penny as ordinary, ask yourself one question. What tiny detail might everyone else have missed? A single 1950 wheat penny has stunned collectors by reaching values near $26,000 under the right circumstances. That's not a rare gold coin. Not a century-old silver dollar. Just a humble 1-cent piece that many people have spent without a second thought. But hidden among millions of ordinary pennies are a handful of fascinating errors and high-grade survivors that have turned pocket change into serious money. Imagine opening an old coffee can in a garage. Inside are hundreds of dusty pennies collected decades ago. Most people would see loose change. A coin hunter sees possibility. The 1950 wheat penny comes from an interesting period in American coinage. The United States was entering a new decade. The uncertainty of World War II was fading. Industries were expanding, and millions of Lincoln wheat cents continued flowing through everyday commerce. Unlike some famous key dates, the 1950 wheat penny doesn't immediately attract attention. That's exactly why it remains such an intriguing treasure-hunting coin. Collectors often focus on obvious rarities while hidden varieties and premium condition examples quietly gain value. Many remarkable discoveries have come from coin jars, estate sales, and forgotten collections where nobody expected to find anything special, and that's where our hunt begins. Before exploring the valuable errors, let's step inside the minting process. Large bronze strips entered powerful machinery where circular blanks were punched out. These blanks were cleaned, heated, and prepared for striking. Next came the coin presses, massive steel dies carrying Lincoln's portrait, and the wheat ear's design struck each blank with tremendous force. Thousands of coins could be produced every hour, but when machines run at high speed, small mistakes become inevitable. A worn die, a misplaced blank, a piece of debris, a tiny mechanical failure. Those imperfections created some of the most collectible wheat pennies today, and some are worth far more than face value. Our first stop on this treasure hunt involves die cracks. As dies age, stress can cause fractures to develop. When the damaged die strikes a coin, raised lines appear on the surface. At first glance, they may look insignificant, but experienced collectors know better. Minor die crack examples often sell for $20 to $100. More dramatic cracks extending through major design elements can reach $150 to $600. Exceptional examples featuring large, obvious cracks sometimes exceed $1,000 when demand is strong. These coins provide a snapshot of mint equipment literally breaking down during production. Now we're getting into territory that catches attention instantly. An off-center strike happens when the blank fails to sit properly between the dies. Part of the design is missing, creating a visibly distorted coin. Small off-center examples typically bring $50 to $250. Moderate examples often reach $300 to $900. Large off-center strikes with the date still visible may command $1,000 to $3,500 or more. Collectors love them because the error is impossible to miss. Even non-collectors immediately recognize that something unusual happened. This is where many successful coin hunts become exciting. Doubled dies occur during die production rather than during striking. Letters, numbers, or design elements appear duplicated. Sometimes the doubling is subtle. Sometimes it's dramatic. Smaller doubled die varieties often trade between $75 and $300. Strong examples can sell for $500 to $2,000, rare and highly desirable. Varieties may exceed those levels when certified and auctioned. Finding one requires patience and magnification. But for treasure hunters, that's part of the thrill. The valuable detail may be hiding in plain sight. Picture a tiny piece of grease, cloth fiber, or metal shaving landing on a blank at exactly the wrong moment. The coin is struck. The object blocks part of the design. The result is a struck-through error. Minor examples generally sell for $25 to $100. More dramatic struck-through pieces often reach $200 to $800. Unusual examples involving clearly identifiable objects can climb above $1,500. Each one tells a unique story from inside the mint. No two are exactly alike. Treasure hunters love clipped planchets because they're easy to spot. During blank production, a cutting mistake removes part of the coin before striking. The finished penny appears to have a curved bite taken from its edge. Small clips usually sell between $40 and $150. Larger clips often reach $200 to $700. Premium examples with strong visual appeal can exceed $200. The dramatic appearance makes these favorites among error collectors. Not every valuable error involves the dies. Sometimes the metal itself contains imperfections. Lamination errors occur when portions of the coin's surface begin separating due to flaws in the alloy. These peeling or lifting sections create unusual textures. Minor examples often bring $30 to $120. More dramatic laminations can reach $250 to $900. Severe examples occasionally cross the $1,000 mark. Collectors appreciate these because they reveal problems hidden within the metal long before the coin was struck. Now comes the factor that separates ordinary coins from extraordinary ones: condition. Most 1950 wheat pennies circulated heavily. They bought newspapers, candy, gasoline, and groceries. Every transaction left marks. Over decades, wear accumulated. A heavily worn example may only be worth a few cents. A lightly circulated specimen might bring several dollars. But pristine examples enter an entirely different world. Coins graded mint state can sell for dozens or hundreds of dollars. At the highest levels, values can explode. Tiny differences matter: a sharper strike, cleaner surfaces, better color, fewer marks. Those details can dramatically affect auction results. That's why serious collectors rely on professional grading. A certified high-grade coin often attracts far more attention than an uncertified example. So how does a 1950 wheat penny approach the incredible $26,000 level? Not through ordinary circulation. The biggest prices typically involve elite condition coins, remarkable preservation, rare varieties, or extraordinary collector demand. These are the coins that survived decades without damage. The coins tucked away carefully while millions of others wore down in circulation. They're rare because perfection is rare, and collectors compete fiercely when one appears. That's what drives exceptional prices. Every coin hunter dreams of finding overlooked treasure, a forgotten album, an inherited collection, a dusty box hidden on a shelf. The 1950 wheat penny embodies that dream perfectly. Most examples are modest. Some are surprisingly valuable. A few become headline-worthy discoveries. The challenge is knowing what to look for: die cracks, off-center strikes, doubled dies, struck through errors, clipped planchets, lamination flaws, and above all, outstanding condition. Because somewhere, in a jar of old pennies that nobody has examined in years, there may be a 1950 wheat penny quietly waiting to reveal its secret. And the next time you spot an ordinary-looking wheat cent, remember this: what if the most valuable coin in the pile is the one everyone else skipped over? What if a penny sitting unnoticed in an old coin jar could be worth $29,000? It sounds unbelievable, but a handful of exceptional 1951 wheat pennies have shocked collectors with eye-popping values. Most people pass right over them. Treasure hunters don't. And today, we're tracking down the clues that separate an ordinary 1951 cent from a coin that could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. The greatest coin discoveries rarely happen in fancy auctions. They happen in dusty attics, old dresser drawers, forgotten piggy banks, boxes nobody has opened in decades. The 1951 wheat penny comes from an era when America was changing rapidly. Factories were booming, suburbs were expanding, and billions of coins flowed through stores, diners, movie theaters, and gas stations. Most of those pennies lived hard lives. They changed hands countless times. They picked up scratches, stains, and wear, but a tiny number escaped that fate, and an even smaller number left the mint with unusual mistakes that collectors now eagerly pursue. Those mistakes are where the real treasure hunt begins. Every 1951, wheat penny started as a blank bronze disc. Massive machines punched the blanks from metal strips and prepared them for striking. The blanks then entered high-speed coin presses. With tremendous pressure, steel dies stamped Lincoln's portrait onto one side and the famous wheat ears onto the other. Everything was designed for speed. Speed creates opportunity. Not opportunity for workers, but opportunity for errors. Damaged die, a misplaced blank, a foreign object, a flaw in the metal. Each could leave behind a rare collectible that decades later would capture the attention of serious collectors. Let's examine the most valuable possibilities. Imagine a die slowly developing a fracture. after striking thousands of coins, instead of being removed immediately. It continues producing cents. The crack transfers onto the coins as a raised line. That's a die crack error. Minor examples often sell for $20 to $80 more visible. Cracks can bring $100 to $500 large. Dramatic die cracks stretching across major design elements sometimes reach $700 to $500. Collectors appreciate them because they're direct evidence of a die. Nearing the end of its life, every crack tells part of the minting story. Some errors don't require magnification. An off-center strike announces itself immediately. The blank enters the press. Incorrectly, the design lands off target. Part of the coin remains blank while the rest carries a shifted image. Minor off-center. Examples usually sell for $50 to $200 more. Dramatic strikes can reach $400 to $200. Examples showing a clear date with substantial displacement often bring $1,500 to $4,000. The more dramatic the appearance, the stronger the collector demand tends to be. Now we enter one of the most exciting areas of Lincoln cent collecting. Doubled dies occur during die creation. Certain letters, numbers, or design details appear duplicated. Sometimes the effect is subtle. Sometimes it's obvious enough to spot without special equipment. Minor double die varieties often trade for $75 to $250 strong. Examples may sell for $500 to $2,500 rare. Premium specimens can command even higher prices when certified and sold at auction. For treasure hunters, double dies are thrilling because valuable examples often hide among ordinary-looking coins. Picture a tiny metal shaving or grease deposit falling onto a blank just before striking. When the dies come together, part of the design fails to form properly. The result is known as a struck-through error. Small examples commonly sell between $25 and $100 more visible struck-through. Errors often bring $150 to $700. Unique and dramatic examples may exceed $1,500 because each obstruction is different. Every struck-through coin has its own personality. No two tell exactly the same story. Some mistakes happen before a coin is even struck. During blank production, an error in cutting creates an incomplete planche. The finished coin emerges with a curved section missing from its edge. Small clips often sell for $40 to $120. Medium clips can reach $200 to $600. Large and attractive examples frequently sell for $800 to $1,500. Collectors love clipped planches because the error is immediately visible. No magnifying glass required. Not all valuable flaws originate in the dies. Sometimes the metal itself contains hidden weaknesses. As the coin is struck, portions of the surface separate or peel away. These are called lamination. Errors, minor laminations, usually bring $30 to $100. Moderate examples often sell for $150 to $500. Severe laminations can command $700 to $800. Depending on eye appeal and rarity, they provide fascinating evidence of imperfections. Inside the metal itself, now we reach one of the most dramatic error categories. A portion of the die breaks away completely. The missing section creates a raised blob of metal on the coin. Collectors call these cuds. Smaller cuds often trade for $50 to $250. Larger examples frequently sell for $400 to $200. Major die breaks with striking visual impact can exceed $2,500. These errors are highly collectible because they represent significant die failure during production. Here's where the hunt becomes serious. Error coins attract attention. Condition multiplies value. Most 1951 wheat pennies spent years circulating through everyday commerce. They accumulated wear, scratches, and discoloration. As a result, truly pristine examples are scarce. An average circulated coin may be worth very little. A sharply preserved example can be worth many times more. And a coin preserved in outstanding mint state condition enters an entirely different category. Professional grading services evaluate factors such as surface preservation, strike quality, color, luster, overall eye appeal. A 1-point grading difference can dramatically change market value. Collectors often compete aggressively for top-grade examples because there simply aren't many available. So how does a 1951 wheat penny reach the astonishing $29,000 level? Not through luck alone. Those prices are usually reserved for exceptional coins possessing elite preservation, remarkable rarity, or highly desirable characteristics. The coin must stand apart from millions of ordinary examples. That's why such values remain rare. But rarity is exactly what fuels the excitement. Every collector knows that extraordinary discoveries still happen, and that's enough reason to keep searching. The 1951 wheat penny isn't famous because every example is valuable. It's famous because hidden among ordinary cents are genuine treasures waiting to be found. A die crack could add value. A doubled die might transform the coin entirely. An off-center strike could turn pocket change into a major collectible. A top-grade survivor could surprise even experienced collectors. And somewhere right now, inside an old collection, a forgotten jar, or a box tucked away in a closet, a 1951 wheat penny may be quietly waiting for someone to notice what others missed. The question isn't whether valuable 1951 wheat pennies exist. The question is, how many are still hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right collector to uncover them? A 1964 Lincoln penny selling for $19,000 sounds like a mistake, until you realize that a few extraordinary examples have stunned collectors with values that seem impossible for a 1-cent coin. Millions of people handled these pennies. Most never looked twice. But hidden among ordinary coins are rare treasures that can transform a forgotten cent into a collector's dream. Picture a rainy afternoon. An old cigar box sits on a shelf in a garage. Inside are hundreds of Lincoln pennies collected over decades. Most people see copper coins. A treasure hunter sees clues. The year 1964 was a fascinating time in American coinage. The nation was experiencing economic growth, consumer spending was rising, and the demand for coins was exploding. Mints were working hard to keep up with circulation needs. Billions of pennies passed through cash registers, lunch counters, gas stations, and movie theaters. Most were spent and forgotten. Yet among that sea of copper-colored coins, a small number left the mint carrying unusual errors or survived in remarkable condition. Those are the coins collectors chase today. And the hunt begins with knowing what to look for. Every penny started as a strip of bronze alloy. Large presses punched circular blanks from the metal sheets. The blanks were cleaned, prepared, and fed into coining presses. Steel dies carrying Lincoln's portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial design on the back struck each blank with tremendous pressure. The process was efficient, too efficient sometimes. Machines ran constantly. Dies wore down. Planchets shifted. Foreign material entered production lines. Tiny mistakes slipped through. Those mistakes created some of the most fascinating collectible pennies from 1964. Let's examine the biggest treasure clues. Our hunt starts with a subtle but collectible error. As coin dies age, stress can create fractures. These cracks transfer onto the coin as raised lines. Many people overlook them. Collectors often don't. Minor die crack examples commonly sell for $20 to $80. More dramatic examples may reach $100 to $500. Large die cracks crossing important design areas can sell for $700 to $2,500 or more. These errors offer a glimpse into a die slowly failing during production. Now things become much easier to spot. An off-center strike occurs when the blank isn't positioned correctly before striking. Part of the design misses the coin entirely. The result is dramatic. Small off-center errors often sell for $50 to $250. Moderate examples frequently reach $300 to $1,000. Highly dramatic strikes showing the date can command $500 to $4,000. Collectors love these because the error is instantly visible. No microscope required. For many collectors, doubled dies represent the ultimate penny hunt. During die creation, design elements become duplicated. Letters may appear doubled. Numbers may show extra impressions. Certain details seem to have shadows. Minor double die examples often trade between $75 and $300. Stronger examples frequently bring $500 to $2,500. Rare premium specimens can exceed $5,000 depending on rarity and demand. Finding one feels like discovering a hidden message nobody else noticed. Imagine a fragment of grease, cloth fiber, or metal debris landing on a blank moments before striking. The dies come together. Part of the design fails to form properly. That's a struck-through error. Smaller examples often sell for $25 to $100. More dramatic struck-through errors can reach $200 to $800. Unique examples with strong visual impact may bring $1,000 to $2,000. Each one captures a split second of chaos inside the mint. Sometimes the mistake happens before the coin is struck. During blank production, a cutting error creates an incomplete planchet. The finished penny emerges with a curved section missing. Small clips usually sell for $40 to $150. Medium clips often bring $200 to $700. Large, eye-catching clips can exceed $1,500. These errors are popular because they're obvious and visually striking. Hidden flaws inside the metal itself can create valuable collectibles. Lamination errors occur when portions of the coin's surface separate or peel away. Minor examples generally sell for $30 to $120. Moderate laminations often reach $150 to $600. Strong examples can command $800 to $2,000. Collectors appreciate them because they reveal imperfections buried within the alloy long before the coin was struck. Some of the most dramatic errors occur when a section of the die breaks away entirely. This creates a raised blob-like feature on the coin, known as a cud. Small cuds often bring $50 to $200. Larger examples frequently sell for $300 to $1,200. Major die breaks with dramatic appearance can exceed $2,500. These are among the most visually impressive die-related errors. While mint marks are not always the focus, they matter when evaluating 1964 Lincoln pennies. Coins produced in Philadelphia generally carried no mint mark. Coins from Denver display a D mint mark. Coins from San Francisco display an S mint mark on special issues and proof coinage. Certain combinations of mint location, condition, and error varieties can significantly affect collector interest. That's why experienced hunters always inspect every detail. Here's where values can change dramatically. Two identical 1964 pennies may have completely different market values. Why? Most examples circulated heavily. They were dropped, scratched, spent, and stored carelessly. High-grade survivors are much harder to find. An ordinary circulated coin might be worth only a small premium. A beautifully preserved mint-state example can sell for substantially more. At elite grades, values rise quickly. Professional grading services evaluate luster surface preservation, strike sharpness, color eye appeal. One grade point can make a major difference. That's why serious collectors pay close attention to certified examples. Following the trail toward $19,000, now we return to that astonishing $19,000 figure. Not every 1964 Lincoln penny is worth that amount. Far from it. The highest values are usually achieved by coins with exceptional preservation, rare varieties, important errors, or extraordinary collector demand. These are the coins that stand out from millions of ordinary examples. They represent the top of the market, and they remind collectors why the hunt never truly ends. The most exciting treasures rarely announce themselves. They hide quietly, inside old albums, coin jars, estate collections, boxes forgotten in closets. The 1964 Lincoln penny is a perfect example. Most are ordinary. Some are collectible. A few are genuinely remarkable. A die crack, a doubled die, an off-center strike, a clipped planchet, a struck-through error, or simply an exceptional state of preservation. Any one of those factors can transform a common-looking penny into something worth investigating. And somewhere tonight, tucked away among thousands of ordinary coins, there may be a 1964 Lincoln penny waiting for someone to notice the detail everyone else missed. The real question is not whether valuable 1964 pennies exist. It's whether one of them is already sitting in a collection you've never bothered to check.